1, 2, is this on?
The art of pro wrestling is a serious business. It combines athletics with theatrics to entertain the world, and spots are the planned action of a match. They are what makes the match memorable. An example of a spot is when Undertaker sent Mankind crashing down to the announce table in their legendary Hell in a Cell match. The spot can make or break a match, and needs to be carefully planned and understood by the performers involved, or else risk injury, or perhaps, as is the case for many in this list, be embarrassed on live television. So here is a list of 10 memorable times a wrestler forgot their spot in a match. The March 4, 2019 episode of Raw featured a 6-man tag team match. After a highly physical bout between the two teams, Lashley secured the victory for his team by spearing Finn Balor and pinning him in the middle of the ring. After the match, the trio of Lashley, Corbin, and McIntyre wanted to humiliate the Hall of Famer Kurt Angle. They assaulted him outside the ring, and Corbin gets the steel steps. Standing opposite is Drew McIntyre, holding Angle's head. Bobby Lashley stands between the two, looking lost and confused. He first goes to help Drew out, but then Drew points him to Corbin. As he goes over, Corbin then points to Drew, leaving Lashley pacing back and forth between the two men before finally piecing together the planned spot. It went on to lead to some hilarious memes depicting Lashley as the most confused man on earth.
Root for the moment was looking for that glorious DDT. Oh!
On the February 8th, 2016 edition of Raw, the show featured a colossal 8-man tag team tables match. The team of the Dudley Boys and the Usos versus the New Day with Mark Henry. There was a lot of physical action, high spots, and bodies flying everywhere. Near the end of the match, Big E took an enziguri from Jimmy Uso, which was supposed to transition into a 3D through the table. But it seems Big E forgot about the planned spot and rolled out of the ring. You can hear Bubba Ray scream, "E!" Realizing his mistake, he rolls right back into the ring and takes the 3D through the table like a pro. It's safe to say that Jericho's early days with WWE were a little off. His first feud since joining the company was with CHYNA and the Intercontinental Championship. There was a triple threat match set up at the 2000 Royal Rumble. The match took place in front of a wild MSG crowd. I guess the nerves of performing at the most famous arena caused Jericho and CHYNA to forget what they were supposed to do, leaving the third man of this three-way, Hardcore Holly, to call the spot. In the middle of the match, Holly was lying on the mat when both CHYNA and Jericho climbed the turnbuckles at the same time. I'm not too sure what they were going for here, but they both jumped and performed a body splash on the prone Holly. Unfortunately for all those who were involved, CHYNA and Jericho jumped and then landed awkwardly without any impact. They just kind of fell on Holly in an awkwardly timed move. You can even see Jericho landing on his feet. The finish of the match at Starrcade 1997 is as infamous as the build-up, even if for all the wrong reasons. Hogan was supposed to get a fast count by the referee Nick Patrick, but then Bret Hart would emerge, restart the match, and Sting would beat Hogan clean to finally put an end to the feud. However, Nick Patrick, who was supposed to make a quick 3 count on Sting, made a rather normal count on Sting's shoulders instead. That mistake made it look like Sting was just pinned cleanly instead of screwed. With the sellout crowd confused and perhaps disgusted, out came Bret to try and salvage the angle and restart the match. And Sting did eventually make Hogan submit, but the damage was already done. Fans were perplexed as there was no reason to put together a dusty finish to the biggest match in history. The late Brody Lee, or Luke Harper in WWE, is fondly remembered by fans and his peers as one of the greatest workers in the business. During the annual Andre the Giant Battle Royal at WrestleMania 35, Luke Harper attempted to suplex Mustafa Ali outside of the ring. The original plan was for Braun to kick Luke, causing both Harper and Ali to be eliminated from the match. Braun forgot, however, and this left Luke Harper and Ali in an awkward position. Harper calls out Braun, but the monster among men didn't hear him. Luke lets Ali go and they fight for a while before Harper goes for the suplex a second time. This time Braun sees it and hurriedly kicks Harper, sending both men crashing to the floor, with Ali almost landing on his head.
A few years ago in this matchup,
Harper going again, trying for that suplex again.
Strowman got him both.
Survivor Series 2002 featured a tag team elimination tables match. During the match, a spot involved Rico climbing to the top rope, getting ready to do a moonsault on Bubba Ray, who was lying on the table. He wasn't supposed to hit it though. Rico was waiting for Jeff Hardy to push him or be knocked down. Instead, Rico was standing on the top rope, trying to keep his balance for what amounted to about 10 to 15 seconds. Rico could be heard yelling in frustration, "Come on Jeff, goddammit," with Hardy lying on the ground outside of the ring. That's when Hardy shook the ropes on the other side of the ring to knock him down. Probably the only push Rico got in his career. Rico's yelling was edited out of the DVD copy of the show and also the WWE Network version of it.
Come on, Jeff, goddammit!
The 2018 Royal Rumble pay-per-view was perhaps one of the best of the modern era and actually left with the fans happy, which was something of a rare occurrence for WWE during this time. However, during the finale, it was the two indie darlings in BALOR and NAKAMURA, beloved by fans all over the world, versus CHYNA and Reigns, the golden boys of the company, who consistently received polarizing reactions. The four men get into a brawl, and after the beatdown, CHYNA and Reigns stare down in the middle of the ring. They just keep staring and taunting and more staring and more taunting, not landing a single punch, with the fans screaming, "You both suck." CHYNA then loudly screams, "Shinsuke, now," as it was both Shinsuke and Balor's cue to attack them, but both men were just lying there taking their sweet time, seemingly forgetting about the spot. CHYNA screams for a second time, and this time both men finally attack CHYNA and Reigns, eliciting loud cheers from the fans.
Of the WWE fans here in Philadelphia. Those hostile fans in the sporting world.
Balor and Nakamura back in the game.
Shinsuke went on to win the Rumble by last eliminating Reigns, a great ending to a fantastic Rumble. At the 1998 Survivor Series, Stone Cold competed in a match against corporate goon at the time, Mankind. During the finish, the Big Boss Man was supposed to run down and hit Austin in the head with a chair shot, costing him the match. However, once they got to that point in the match, Boss Man didn't show up. Apparently, he was too busy talking in the back with The Undertaker, and he missed his cue. This meant that the higher-ups had to call an audible at Gorilla, and instead sent Gerald Briscoe down to hit Austin with perhaps one of the lamest chair shots in history.
Briscoe hits me with kind of a lame chair shot.
Probably only second to that of Hollywood Hogan's chair shot to Conan in WCW.
What?
Austin ended up losing the match and would later go to the back and let Bossman know what he thought of his error.
He missed his fucking cue. He was in the dressing room talking to The Undertaker. And I love Ray Traylor to death, God rest his soul, but I cussed that motherfucker up and down and just lit into his ass.
I'll shove that nightstick so far up your ass, you'll have to move it out of the way to brush them little yellow teeth of yours.
Oh my.
The main event of WrestleMania 8 saw Hulkamania dwindling as the Hulkster took on Psycho Sid with no title on the line. Hogan dropped the atomic leg drop on the Master of the Universe and covered him, awaiting everybody's favorite voodoo priest, Papa Shango's interference that would eventually lead to Sid being DQ'd, a beatdown on Hogan, and the return of the almighty Ultimate Warrior. Unfortunately, Shango had apparently inhaled too many fumes from his smoking skulls as he forgot his cue and ran out late, leading to Psycho Sid having to kick out of the atomic leg drop clean, which was close to blasphemy at the time. There was confusion all round, which led to Harvey Whippleman jumping in and causing the DQ. A very apologetic looking Papa Shango came jogging down the ramp shortly after the match, and the return of the Warrior was luckily able to salvage the ending of the match. The last entry comes from SummerSlam 2005, featuring two of the greatest wrestlers of all time, Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. They competed in that memorable ladder match for the custody of Rey's son Dominic. Near the end of the match, Guerrero had Mysterio trapped underneath the ladder and was climbing up. Eddie's wife Vickie was supposed to run down to the ring and push her husband off the ladder. This didn't happen, however. Vickie missed her cue, and Eddie was awkwardly standing on top of the ladder, holding the briefcase and struggling to unhook it. Guerrero falls to the mat and lands on his leg. Frustrated, he screams,
Get Eddie. Frustrated.
The two luchadors then improvised some more and attempted the spot once again. This time, Vickie shows up and pushes Eddie off the ladder. Rey Mysterio then climbs and wins the match and the custody of his son. And that brings us to the end of this video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoy seeing wrestlers mess up, have a watch of our video of 10 times they botched an ending to gimmick matches. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.